Next situation is the boys and girls completely separate, right? So all the boys together, right, are 5 of them all together, and then all of the girls all together. Okay, does that make sense? So here's one example. I could do boy, 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 and then all the girls over this side, right? So this is the arrangement that I'm after. Okay. Now, you tell me, how would you begin doing this? Remember, there's lots of different ways that are all valid. How might you approach the number of ways? Any suggestions? Think about how I structured the previous question as well. The first thing I want to do is lock something, anything, in position. Right? Now, in this case here, part C, right, my standard unit was a couple, okay? Much to the frustration of singles in the crowd, like me in Year 12. But now I don't have couples, right? Now I've got groups of 5, right? And I've got 2 spots for them. Does that make sense? Okay. So here's what I do. I lock in one group of 5, and I just put them somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no problems, okay? How many ways are there for me to chuck in the other group? Answer? 1 way. There are only 5 seats left, right? 1. Okay, so I placed, say, the boys as a group of 5. Then I placed the girls as a group of 5. Right? But then, just like in the couple situation, within those groups, they can rearrange themselves. Right? So for instance, how many ways can the boys rearrange themselves? 5 factorial. And then the girls can also rearrange themselves into 5 factorial ways. Okay? So there you go. 114,400? Something like that. Okay. Last situation. Oh, so sad. A breakup. Right. So let's go back to part C. We had 5 couples, right? 5 couples, but suppose one of the couples breaks up. Okay, so we don't want to replay this one. That's a bad idea, okay? The 4 couples that are still together, they're okay. They're like this, right? But the other 2, we want to keep them far apart. Okay, I'm going to pause. We've just built up all these approaches for doing it. Okay, I want you to have just boot him off the table, you know. Sorry, buddy. I want you to think about how you would do it, and where you would start, right? And then how you would explain how your way gets to the right number of ways. And by the way, I don't know who said it, but there's this really good quote that says, "A problem well phrased is half solved." A problem well phrased is half solved. Because if you phrase it the right way, it makes it very obvious what way you should proceed. And then the rest of it's just trivial, right? So here's the way I'm going to phrase it. It's a breakup, right? So you've got 4 couples, and then you've got the other 2 individuals, right? So these are the things I need to place. Okay, and then I'll work out their internal rearrangements afterwards, okay? Just like I've been doing all the way through, okay? So, in the case of the couples, how many couples did I have to place? I had 5 couples. In the case of having all of the boys together and all the girls together, how many objects did I need to place? I need to place 2, right? So I placed 1, and then because it's a circle, there's only one other place for the things to be, okay? Now you have a look at this. How many objects do I need to place? And the answer is 6, okay? So I have 6 objects. So I'm going to I'll do it like this because you might find this a little more helpful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there you go. It's a life raft. Or 6 different spots for things to be put into, okay? Now the reason why this is a powerful approach is because a lot of people have gotten sort of hamstrung over saying, well, there's 1 seat here, which means there's got to be a gap of 1 seat, or there might not be a gap of 1, there could be a gap of 2 seats, or 3, or it gets a little more confusing. Can you see in this arrangement, I don't care about where the individual seats are, okay? All I care is about where these guys are in relation to each other, okay? So, I begin the way I usually do, by fixing someone in place, okay? So, let's put the boy here, right? Once I've placed the boy, okay, the girl is now limited in where she can go, right? Now you can think in terms of, oh, well, I have to put a couple here and here. I prefer, and I think it's probably like mathematically easier to say, well, where can the girl sit? And the answer is here, here, or here. There are 3 places that I can put the girl. Okay, now once I've placed them, I don't care where anyone else goes. I just rearrange all the couples wherever. How many couples must I arrange? 4. And there are 4 factorial ways to arrange them. Yes? Okay, now I'm almost done. I've put all of the units in their place now. Okay? But then you know how formulas like they alternate who gets beef and chicken or whatever, and like, you know, one of these girls is like, I don't want beef. So, you know, they swap places. So we can do all of this shuffling, right? But I don't have 5 couples, do I? I've only got 4. Right? Yeah. 4. Okay? Which gives you, I think the number you end up with is 1,152, which is a bit of a relief because even though it's socially awkward, at least there's 1,152 ways for us to minimize that awkwardness. Yes? You mean here? Okay, good question. Why is this not 3 factorial? Okay. Now it all depends on, and I haven't written it admittedly, but hopefully I talked through it slowly enough. You've got to know what each of these means. Got it? Know what each number means, right? So what was the 1 about? It was fixing a person, the boy in my case. Okay. Then what was this for? And the answer was I was not arranging a bunch of things. I was arranging one thing, the girl, right? And she can be in one of 3 places. There are 3 ways to place the girl, right? So that's why it's 3. Does that make sense? So if you want to think about it this way, right? Here are 3 spots, right? And the girl can be in this spot, or she can be in this spot, or she can be in this spot. And because I'm not placing 3 objects into those 3 spots, that's why I don't have 3 factorial. I'm only placing 1 object into those 3 spots. Make sense? Okay, so big tips: draw a diagram for yourself, know what each thing is there for, right? And that way you can trace back if an error has crept in. Yeah. What does this represent? What's this about? Okay, so this part is about after having placed the couples and then placed the individuals. Now I can see the couples themselves internally, they can swap. So there are only 4 couples though, rather than 5 as they were in this case. But I can't switch the boy and the girl because I fixed him, right? If I can switch the boy and the girl, I will come up with, okay, so then I'll multiply by 2, but then I've got exactly twice as many arrangements as I've overcounted, right? So that's why don't overcount him, just leave him at 1. Okay, he's been dealt with.